myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra. Work with me, you know that.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another episode podcast to talk about our favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. Huge shout out to the people that are currently in the chat. We got Cameron, we got Nate, we got Naeem, we got, is that Sharon? What's up, Sharon? Martin, Julio, John, what's up, y'all? Appreciate you guys for being here. Definitely do me a huge favor. Smack the like button here on your way in. Subscribe to the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. We're on the road to 19K. Cannot do it without you guys. And to just give you a little bit of enticement, if you just like to hover around, you can win this free Arizona Cardinals Nike Rivalry mini helmet if we hit 19K, which it's actually coming here a lot sooner than we think. So make sure you subscribe it up. Absolutely for free. But ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be diving into just obviously talking about the head coaching search and where we're at right now with Anthony Campanile and how everybody feels about what's going on right now. Because if you guys do not know, or if you guys didn't tune in any of my content yesterday, let me fill you in. The Arizona Cardinals made an announcement yesterday, where actually it wasn't the Arizona Cardinals, but it was Ian Rappaport. He came out and said that the Arizona Cardinals are meeting with Anthony Campanile tomorrow, which yesterday is today, right? Thursday, for his second in-person interview. Now, this is the first in-person interview that the Arizona Cardinals has taken so far. We were supposed to bring in Robert Saleh, but of course the Tennessee Titans ended up beating us to the punch. We weren't able to interview him in person. Tennessee Titans wrapped him up, and we all know the story from there, right? But now, obviously, with the video floating around with Anthony Campanile, being very, very, I guess, vocal, brash, whatever you want to say, but it really got a lot of Cardinal fans really excited about potentially getting this type of coach. And I've mentioned this before. I'm not going to compare anybody anymore, but I'm going to do it again. I think this might, if the Cardinals go this direction, and I'm saying a big if, right? If they go this direction, it does make it feel like this is probably the first time in a very long time that we get somebody similar to Bruce Arians, right? Because I've seen, there was a comment, we didn't go back and forth very much. X/Twitter, I really don't pay too much attention to it. If I'm going to be real with you, I just post and I get out because I got other social media platforms that I like to pay more attention to than obviously X/Twitter. But somebody ended up coming out and saying, oh, his East Coast persona, or no, he said his East Coast act won't work in this market. And I responded with, I mean, what does it matter if it's an act, if it's a West Coast, East Coast act, what does it matter? As long as he wins, that's what we're looking for, right? And then he ended up coming out and saying something along the lines of like, it just won't work here. And I was like, Bruce Arians was what people mentioned brash, right? Bruce Arians was a no risk it, no biscuit. That was his personality. Now, of course, Bruce Arians was older, right? What is he, like in his 50s, late 50s, close to 60s when we had him here? Maybe it seems a little bit more suitable when you call somebody Uncle Bruce, right? Or it seemed like that uncle that you're going to be able to, get a drink with. This guy might be one of those guys as well, if I'm going to be real with you. Now, yes, a lot of F-bombs, right, came after that clip, but that got a lot of Cardinal fans really excited. And I mentioned this on my last podcast yesterday when we did the afternoon podcast. I kid you not, ladies and gentlemen, when I first originally posted my the post that the Arizona Cardinals were going to meet with them, nobody liked it. I see all these comments and we're like, man, this sucks. What are we doing? Blah, 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 blah. And 10 minutes later, I made another post with that viral clip that's going around, and now everybody's on the train. It's crazy how that works, but if you really know a person, it could really turn you on or turn you off to the idea of, hey, this could potentially work here, right? But at the end of the day, it's going to be Monty Ossenfort's decision, right? What we know right now is that the Cardinals are meeting him today. Now, I don't see any updates in the social media world that has gone well or has not gone well. Usually you don't have a lot of coverage when it's a name like Anthony Campanile. Of course, when you have somebody like Sean Payton, all the newscasters are going to go over there, try to get a story, right? And, record from afar. That's just kind of what they do. But with a name like this, there probably isn't going to be a lot of coverage, but we're just going to have to depend on the good, reliable Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter to kind of get a little insight as to kind of how it went. Now, do I expect the Arizona Cardinals to sign him today? Well, I mean, I guess it just depends, right? It depends on the situation that we're in right now. I know there's some people, and I've seen some comments, and we're on Facebook now too, by the way. What the heck? Yeah, we're on Facebook now too. So if you guys are on Facebook, follow me over there. I will be putting the link in the description. I got all my other ones up there besides Facebook. We're on Facebook now too. We're putting a lot of reels on there as well. We're starting. But obviously, I'm reading comments from a lot of different parts of the fan base, right? Instagram, X/Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook as well. And then, of course, YouTube being the biggest platform that I have here. But it it's all going to come down to Monty, right? How does Monty and Michael Bidwell deem a guy that has not had a lot of head coaching experience, right? He's had some time under his belt with, like, he's got some run-ins with, I think, was it Flores, Vangio, and Halfley as well, which is the guy that just was signed by the Miami Dolphins. So, like, he had some run-ins there, and he seems like he's like kind of a mix between all of them, is at least what we're kind of hearing out there. Like, he created his own defense, is what we're hearing, right? So, from Jacksonville, he was a one-year defensive coordinator, and that defense was very, very good in the run-stopping game. Their passing stopping game wasn't the best, but we'll see, right? We'll see how it shakes out. But he spent some time with the Green Bay Packers as a linebacker coach, Miami with the linebacker coach, and in Michigan, Boston College, Rutgers. And it's just the three teams right now in the NFL, and it only dates back to 2020, was the Miami Dolphins, right? So there's some people out there, and rightfully so. I'm not going to come out here and act like, oh, this is the guy right here, right? This is going to be the guy, and you guys have to like it. Because at the end of the day, I don't know either, right? I don't know what's going to happen. Now, like I mentioned before, do I expect the Arizona Cardinals to make a move today? Well, being the fact that he's the very first in-person interview, it depends on how Monty Ford feels about him at the end of the day, right? If he feels like this is the guy, I cannot let him leave this building, then they might. But I honestly do think that the Cardinals are going to wait this coming weekend, because guess what? You got the conference championship this weekend, and you got the likes of Clint Kubiak, right? If he and the Seattle Seahawks get booted out by the Rams, if by any chance the Seahawks beat the Rams, then you got Mike LaFleur or Chris Shula to reach out to. So I kind of do want the Arizona Cardinals to make sure that they actually cross all their T's and dot their I's, unless they're completely 110% sold into the idea that this is our guy. We can't let him leave the building because the Ravens are going to want him, and watch out. Because I believe there was other teams that were in also on an Anthony Campanile as well, but the Miami Dolphins just got their guy, right? I believe the Titans were the other team as well, but they already have their guy as well. I think it was the Tennessee Titans, if I'm not mistaken. But I know there was another team in the mix as well, but their already head coaches got filled up. So it's not like the Cardinals threw something out of left field and we're like, oh, we're just going to hire this defensive coordinator. No, this is a guy that was been coveted for multiple different interviews with multiple different teams. The big one out there that is still available is the Ravens, right? So can we sway him, especially if the Ravens truly want him to come over here, over there? Well, that's going to be the decision, right? Obviously, Monty has a little bit more in the know than we do, right? He talks to more executives, or at least I hope he does. He has a lot more rumors and speculations going on with in the GM world. So it's going to depend. But what I would like the Arizona Cardinals to do is, if they could, unless they're 110% sold on this is the guy, I would wait until Monday or Tuesday, because I do believe that there's something to be said about potentially bringing in Mike LaFleur, or potentially bringing in Shula if they become available, or even Kubiak, which people really want Kubiak. People really want Kubiak. I just want the Cardinals to make sure that they 100% or 110% know that this is their guy. If it is, I'm game. I'm for it. I'm for it. I already kind of not fell in love, but I'm on the train, right? As of right now. But they got to be 110% sold into the idea that this is the dude. So, am I expecting breaking news today? I'm not, but you never know, man. You never know. The internet, or the NFL world moves so quickly, and right now what we know is that the Cardinals are meeting with them, right? We got 2 super chats coming our way. We got one from 1HCAA. What's up, man? Appreciate the super chat. He says, yeet. Absolutely, right? Let me get that. There you go. There it is. Another for the one time. Absolutely. Yeah. We'll see. I don't expect it to happen today, but like I said, the only one person that knows is going to be Monty Ossenfort and Michael Bidwell if they truly believe it is their guy. Let's go with Julio. What's up? Julio with the super chat saying, horrible. Hope this is not our next head coach. I wouldn't say horrible myself, but I understand the concern, right? I understand the concern. Um, with what's been going on around the NFL right now, I know it's easy for a viral clip to kind of be put out there, and a lot of people kind of make their decision on a whim, whether it's just get a coach already at this point or, whatever the situation is, right? I don't think this would be a horrible decision. Now, the questions that should be asked during this interview is, what's your plan at offensive coordinator? What's your plan at defensive coordinator? Because I've been mentioning it again, and I keep mentioning it over and over again, because I want everybody to understand that just because you hire a John Harbaugh, just because you hire a Anthony Campanile, or you hire somebody like Mike LaFleur, what's equally important as to who you're hiring as a head coach, it's equally important to who you're bringing in to teach these guys, right? To put these players in the best position available. Who does he bring in? Does he bring in some guys that he knew in Jacksonville? Potentially, right? He had some run-ins with Green Bay as well, right? He had some run-ins with the Miami Dolphins as well. So for what it's worth, as a linebacker coach with the Miami Dolphins, a linebacker coach and run game coordinator with the Green Bay Packers, and now defensive coordinator for 1 year, I understand the concern that some Cardinal fans have. Because, like I said, I read all the comments, and a lot of people out there are saying, oh, wait, the Cardinals haven't learned their lesson, right? The Cardinals haven't learned their lesson. It's just something about him, man. There's something about him that I look at him and I'm like, I'm interested. I'm interested. But I still would love the Arizona Cardinals next week to go deeper, right? To go deeper. And it depends. Hell, Vance Joseph might even be available next week, right? I don't want Vance Joseph, but he might be available next week if the Broncos and Jared Stidham can't beat the Patriots and Drake May, which it seems like a very high hill to climb, but that might be the realistic nature. Vance Joseph might be available next week as well. So for what it's worth, there's that. Now, another quick reminder, these are all the coaches that are currently have any links or contact with the Arizona Cardinals so far, right? These are all 15. It's a bunch. It's a bunch of them. The latest ones are Joe Brady, and then number 15, Anthony Campanile there, defensive coordinator of the Jags. I do got some color codes. I got some names crossed out. The names crossed out are the guys that are already signed to a head coaching position. The darker color of yellowish or orange yellow, whatever you want to call it, those are the guys I'm really interested in. The lighter is, I will accept it, right? Doesn't get me too excited, but I'll accept it. And then the rest of the guys are kind of just there at the end of the day. So, yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of moving parts for this head coaching search right now for the Arizona Cardinals. And also, don't forget that there's still 6 teams, right? There's still 6 teams looking for their next head coach as of right now, right? Raiders, Bills, Steelers, Ravens, us, and then the Browns. A lot of the national perception is that we are at the bottom of the least desired location. So also keep that in mind as well. So it's unfortunate, but the circumstances are the circumstances, ladies and gentlemen. I would still love to, if he will have us hire or interview Clint Kubiak in person. I know the Cardinals have reached out to him. I know they spoke to him, probably over the phone or virtually. I don't know what it is, but I still would love the idea, if the Seattle Seahawks get booted out, to get a chance to see if he's interested in this role. And I'm talking about Clint Kubiak. So for what it's worth, there's that. I would wait personally, but that's my decision, right? But you're also playing a tricky game too. What if the Ravens do absolutely love him, right? What if the Ravens absolutely do love him? We'll see. Oh, here's some news, ladies and gentlemen. Here's some news, ladies and gentlemen. Not Cardinals related, but something to maybe kind of obviously keep your eyes on. Jordan Schultz, about 30 minutes ago, reported that the Chargers defensive coordinator, Jesse Minter, which the Cardinals were also in talks with, has canceled a scheduled meeting with the Browns today. He's believed to be a serious consideration for other head coaching jobs, including Baltimore. So for what it's worth, there's that. Jesse Minter has now canceled his meeting with the Browns. I'm telling you, man, the Cardinals and the Browns right now are one of those very few teams that it feels like nobody really wants right now. It sucks, but the circumstances, you got to fix everything internally before you can actually make things work out, right? But we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. But like I said before, what we know is that Anthony Campanile is meeting with the Arizona Cardinals today. Our first official in-house interview. 1 year as a defensive coordinator, no head coaching experience. There's some people that are worried, but I don't know. There's something about it, man. Something about it. Robert in the chat says Browns suck. I mean, coming from a Cardinals fan, I don't know how much weight that actually has, but we'll see. Wind in the chat says, as far as a fan, I can't go through that again. So you're saying, okay. So Win in the chat says, is whoever we get going to be a 1-year coach if we go 3-4 again? I mean, well, here's the thing. Michael Bidwell right now and Monty Ossenfort are sold into the idea and the thought that it shouldn't take 1 or 2 years for us to be relevant. That's what they said, right? They said that in their last presser. And that's the truth. You see coaches around the NFL year in and year out. The Liam Cohens of the world, the Mike Vrabel of the world, although, yes, he was a head coach before and then got another opportunity and look where they're at. The Bears of the world, right? There's another one that's just slipping past me, but it happens, right? Mike Macdonald as well. Mike Macdonald, when he took over the Seattle Seahawks, I expected him to have a down year. No, they didn't. So you can do it. Yeah, it can happen in the NFL. It's just, can you bring the right coach in to obviously right the ship? But Monty and Michael Bidwell truly believe that that's not what they're settling for this year, that they want to start winning. So we'll see. We'll see how it all works out. Ladies and gentlemen, we got over 114 guys in the chat right now. 114 guys in the chat. Do me a massive favor. Can you smack the like button on this live stream? It helps push this video out to other Cardinals fans that do not know this channel exists. So smack the like button if you can do me that solid favor. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let's read a couple more comments here in the chat. Ja in the chat says, I'd say we wait for Alberto Mendoza. Right now, there's not enough for me to say Alberto Mendoza is a guy that I'm actually interested in right now. If I were to kind of say that right now. But Desert Lightning says, no risk it, no biscuit. I love it. But I mean, there's other guys in 2027 that can definitely very well be that guy. Julian Sayin being one of them, Arch Manning, which I hope he has a better year because right now I'm kind of down on Arch Manning. If Dante Moore decides to declare, there's going to be some other names, right? But this year is so interesting this year. They got some very interesting names, potential first rounders, right? Quote unquote first rounders that no longer are first round guys anymore. So we'll see. The Garrett Nussmeyers, the Cade Klubniks. I'm not sure if Cade hasn't declared yet, but those big names, Drew Aller, Shambliss, is he coming out or is he still trying to sue everybody? I don't know. Ty Simpson, Mendoza, right? There's some interesting names. Beck, right? Carson Beck as well. Interesting name. So we'll see. We'll have a quarterback video designed for these prospects. Well, actually, I kind of already did. I called it the quarterback plan. It's already live on the channel, so if you guys haven't already watched it, make sure you check it out. And yes, we have updated our thumbnails. So if you don't know it's me, the thumbnails have changed on the YouTube channel, so make sure you're looking out for those thumbnails. It's not AI, it's me, I promise. Italian in the chat says, Mike Macdonald became a target after Baltimore's defense destroyed the 49ers. And that's the thing, too. Like, I don't know. Like, I asked this yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to read the comments, but let me ask you guys for this chat, right? For the new people that are in the chat this time around. When Mike Macdonald was hired, did anybody see that as, oh my God, what a massive win by the Seattle Seahawks? Wow, this is the guy right here. No, I don't remember that happening. I remember people saying that this was a really good coach and they got a really good coach over there, but I don't feel like there was a lot of hype around Mike Macdonald when he was getting the job, right? When it comes down to the Seattle Seahawks. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, I guess I'm trying to come to the defense of an Anthony Campanile if the Cardinals did decide to go that direction. But like, I don't remember people getting too crazy about Mike Macdonald. Like I said, there was people that said this is a really good coach, but the hype that we had around Ben Johnson, I don't think that was the same, right? Because Mike Macdonald, hear this out, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Macdonald was also a linebacker coach. He was a linebacker coach, a defensive back coach, a defensive assistant, a coaching interim, all with the Baltimore Ravens. So he spent a lot of times with the Baltimore Ravens. In 2014, he spent 1 year in Michigan as a defensive coordinator, came back to the Baltimore Ravens as a defensive coordinator for 2 years, and got the Seattle Seahawks job, right? But he was also a linebackers coach as well. Now, he did have a defensive coordinator job in Michigan, but he only had 2 years under his belt before he became the guy in Seattle. So, I don't know. Right? I agree. I think he was kind of a quiet hire. I really do. I mean, that's at least what I remember. I remember, especially on my roundtable, the NFC West, the two guys that were really, they were like, yeah, this is good. My guy Jesse that covers the 49ers, and Jake as well that covers the Rams, they were like super bought. They're like, oh, he's such a good coach. You got lucky there. And they were really worried about him joining the NFC West. But I was like, it's a good hire. I just didn't think what we saw was what we're going to get. I mean, good for Mike Macdonald. He's doing really good things. He definitely does have a lot. Yeah, he's definitely a lot of experience for sure, especially with one organization, and that's the Baltimore Ravens. So definitely a lot of experience. Javi in the chat says, I'm done with Marvin Harrison Jr. Seems like Kyler 2.0 excuses. Seen enough. He needs to be traded. I just don't think he's going to get traded. I really don't. I don't think Marv's going to get traded. I don't think Marv's going to get traded at all. So for people that are holding on their breath that he will be, I just don't think he will. I think they're going to try it with another coach, and they're going to see if they're able to be fixed or have schemes that are better for him to flourish in. I think that's what's going to happen for Marvin. And I don't want to give up on him myself, but I understand it. Like I said, I always lean on the caution because this channel is based off of different people's opinions, right? We got over 100 people here. Not everybody's going to agree with what I say every single day, right? And everybody who does podcasts, nobody agrees with what they say left and right. But it's not about how you disagree with me, but it's about like adapting that everybody's got their own ways of thinking, right? So I don't think Marvin's going to go anywhere. It's not like I have any inside information. I just don't think he's going to go anywhere. I think the Cardinals are going to try to, quote unquote, fix him with the new offensive coordinator. So we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. I also want to dive into the Kyler Murray situation, right? We've had a couple people mention Kyler Murray yesterday. And I kind of want to talk about it, right? I feel like it's worth noting that I really want to get your guys' opinion on the situation as well. We talked about it. We didn't really give too much, I guess, weight into this conversation, but the Kyler Murray's future, right? Let's talk about it, shall we? Kyler Murray right now, does everybody agree? And if you don't agree, no worries. Let me know in the chat, right? Either yes or nay, yay or nay, whatever you want to say. Let me ask you this simple question. Do you believe that Kyler Murray's time in the desert is done, right? Not that should it be or like, is it? Like, do you think that his time in the desert is done, right? Because a lot of big-time national talking heads, with the exception of Jeremy Fowler, he gives a lot of positivity as to, hey, I'm not going to rule it out. He's not saying that Kyler Murray is coming back. He's just saying, I'm not ruling it out, which is fine, right? I get it. It should be the decision of the next head coach that comes in if they want to roll with Kyler or not, right? And I'm in that same boat as well. If I was the head coach or if I was the general manager, I think this would be the perfect time for you to try to get some sort of value back myself. But I run in a different headspace than most people do, right? I run in, this is a business, right? This is a business. And I also don't fall in love with players like I used to, right? I'm about the team. I want the team to succeed, right? So if you're a younger crowd that loves Kyler, I get it. I understand it. But my question is, do you think his time is done in the desert? because this right here might be the perfect opportunity for the Cardinals to offload him to a different team. And that team right now I'm thinking about is the Jets, right? The Jets right now seems to be the perfect team to offload him to. Right now, they're kind of licking their wounds, right? You got Aaron Glenn right now fighting for his job. There's a good portion of that fan base right now. A good portion of that fan base that didn't want Aaron Glenn to come back in a second year. They wanted him to be a one and done coach, and they wanted him to not be here. So, what does that tell me? Right? That tells me that I think he's probably fighting for his job. And guess what? Dante Moore is no longer going to be available. Dante Moore is no longer going to be available. So he's declared and went back to Oregon. So now we're sitting with the idea that if the Arizona Cardinals could move off of Kyler, this might be the best year to do so, right? If you move him off to a Jets team that's coming off a little desperate, I'm not going to say we're going to get the second overall pick for him because it's not realistic to think that Kyler Murray at this point in his career going into his year 8, that he's coveted a first round pick. I don't think he is. Maybe a day 2 pick, right? Some people argue second round, third round, what have you. It's however you decide this is all going to look like, right? But if there was any teams or a couple teams to come up and rise to the occasion that I would like to get Kyler, it would probably be this year. He still has his name. He still coveted the 2019 first overall pick. He's got the 2-time Pro Bowls, the Rookie of the Year, and that kind of still bodes well for people, right? At least the name of Kyler Murray. But question, do you think he's going to be gone? I do. I really, really do. I think that this would be the best time for a head coach to come in here to potentially get their guy. Now, I'm also not coming out here and saying that like, oh, the next guy we're going to get is going to be our next savior. No, I mean, we're going to go through some bumps and bruises. We're really not an organization that plans in advance, right? We're not. Because if we were, the Arizona Cardinals would have gone the direction that I wanted to last year. And that was Jackson Dart was very, very intriguing, right? Now I get it. Jackson Dart right now has shown flashes, but can he stay healthy? This kid gets concussions left and right. And it's very unfortunate to see. I really do hope that John Harbaugh takes care of this kid because you see some very special attributes about him, but he's still very young. He plays a little reckless right now, right? But that's what I would have done last year. But I get it. Cardinals wanted to make sure that Kyler Murray felt like you are the guy. We were going to give you the opportunity. But it just was so weird within the first 5 games, and the Cardinals did not win the Tennessee Titans game. And then, of course, the hand to the chest of Amari DiMercato, they were willing to cut ties or at least bench him, quote unquote, or soft benching, or quote unquote, he was hurt for the season. Right? However you want to think of it. But it just was weird. Why did it just take 5 games, and why didn't we prepare for this? That's one thing that I would say a long time or forever. I don't understand why this Arizona Cardinals organization doesn't plan for the future, right? That's one thing that this organization has never done since me being a fan of it, ever. They never prepare for a rainy day. They're always like, oh, we're going to wait because no, it's not the way the world works, man. It's not. I kind of want to have the mentality of the Eagles when they had Carson Wentz signed up and they went after Jalen Hurts. And I know Jalen Hurts gets a lot of flack because this offense looked really bad, but that's kind of what you need to do. What the Packers did with Aaron Rodgers. Instead of getting him a weapon, they got Jordan Love. They prepared for a future without their quote-unquote franchise quarterback. And that's one thing that I would have loved the Arizona Cardinals to do within the last year or so, because maybe we would be sitting with a quarterback plan. And right now we don't. And that's what a lot of national people are saying right now. That A, the Cardinals don't spend. B, there's unknown at quarterback. That's why we're not really a desired location, unfortunately. We're not a desired location because we don't have a quarterback plan, unfortunately. So is it Kyler? Well, it can be. But I don't think it's realistic. Let's go with RRDRR says ditch Kyler and bring in Malik Willis and Zach Wilson. Try to make Sam Darnold / Daniel Jones of them. Revive their game. I'm okay with Malik Willis. The problem with getting a Malik Willis is that I don't want the Arizona Cardinals to be, this is it, we're good, right? And I've seen this play out before in my mind. Unfortunately, we're not an organization that usually that works out for. Now, I get it. Carson Palmer happened, and Carson Palmer was really awesome. Kurt Warner happened, and man, it was awesome as well. But like, we're odds of that happening for the Cardinals usually isn't very good, right? But if you go after Malik Willis, I'm okay with it. But also, don't let that be your plan for 2 or 3 years. If there's a guy that falls to you in the second round, like a Ty Simpson or like a Chambliss, and you really want him, get him, draft him, build for the future, do something that gives me hope that you know what you're doing and crossing all your T's and dotting every single one of your I's. That's what I want to see from this Arizona Cardinals organization moving forward. So this Kyler Murray's future, right? And why we're very undesired destination, we put ourselves in this situation. We put ourselves in the situation year in and year out, and it's very unfortunate to see. But if we can realize that this is a business and we can't fall in love with these players, unfortunately, you can be a fan of them, that's fine. But the business side always trumps it, especially if you're a Cardinal fan through and through. What's up, Mark? Mark in the chat says Kyler Murray's height doesn't matter when it comes to MLB baseball. Just stay away from the Diamondbacks at all costs. I don't know, man. Right now, I know the joke is hit for him to go play video games or for him to go and, go back to baseball, right? It's a joke out there. But taking the jokes out of there, even me as a podcaster, as a guy that should not know quote unquote ball, right? I also, because I'm gonna be real with you, right? When we got Kyler Murray, I was as fanboyish as I could have because I wanted him to succeed. But when I started to see him coming in this Drew Petzing's offense, I started to question, can you really be the guy for the Arizona Cardinals? Like, can this work? Now, if the Cardinals do get a new scheme and it works around him, then I do think he can succeed. The problem is that, like, there's just so many things that need to go right for Kyler. So many things that need to go right for Kyler Murray. And unfortunately, the Cardinals haven't been able to do that and put that around him for him to succeed, right? So the circumstances are the circumstances right now. And right now, I don't think it's realistic that he's coming back. I could be wrong. I've been wrong multiple times. I could be wrong, but I don't see it happening. I really don't. Let's read a couple more comments in the chat. Blazing in the chat says, I hate that Kyler was never taken seriously because of a contract clause. I mean, I think the Arizona Cardinals took him seriously. If I'm going to be real, I think the Cardinals took him seriously. I think they really did think that this was their guy. I think the Cardinals truly thought that this was their guy, and they gave him every single year an opportunity to prove that he was the guy. The problem that we're dealing with is that the way that Kyler Murray plays is he plays in flashes. He plays in, do you remember that clip or that play he did versus the Raiders? My God, how magnificent that was. 5, 6 guys falling on their legs. They couldn't catch Kyler. It looked so great. Or when he called his shot against the 49ers, right? At the 40-yard line, and he knew he was gone, right? And the Hail Murray, those things are once every 6 games, right? And then you get remembered, oh man. There's the other side of what Kyler Murray is, right? Runs around, throws the ball. Then you remember, right? Like the Rams game, right? When he got absolutely obliterated in the end zone, he just threw the ball, or in the Titans game where he just flings the ball, right? Then you get reminded that it's not sustainable, right? I love it, man. I love the highlights. It's cool. It's really good to talk about. Is Kyler Murray top 3 quarterback we've had under the Arizona Cardinals franchise? Yes, he has. Absolutely. 100% yes. But me thinking either Warner, Palmer, or Palmer and Warner, wherever you put the two, right? I would say Warner, Palmer, and then Kyler's here, right? Kyler's number 3, but there's a big gap even between him and Palmer. But I can admit he's definitely top 3. He's probably the best drafted quarterback the Arizona Cardinals have brought in the last 15 years, bar none. So I will give you that. It's just the inconsistencies rear its ugly head a lot more times than we get those big flashy things, right? So that's just kind of the situation that we're living in right now. Tim in the chat says Hail Murray. Yeah, Hail Murray, right? And it's not that hell. It's not Hell. It's Hail Murray, right? Hail when he threw the ball. That's what I was talking about. Hail Murray, right? If I said Hail Murray, I apologize. Hail Murray. where he threw the ball, right, in the Buffalo Bills game, and that was magnificent. But those things don't happen every single game, or at least 2 times a game. No, it's not every other game. It's probably once or twice, 3 or 4 times in a year we'll get those things, and it reminds us, oh man, what he could be. And it's not sustainable. It really isn't. Nate in the chat says Jake Palmer won a playoff game. That's fair. That's fair. I do feel like Jake Plummer doesn't get a lot of recognition for what he did for the Cardinals when he was with us. It was a long time ago as well. For the newer kids, right? For the newer kids that obviously are watching now. But yeah, Jake Plummer was the 42nd overall pick in the second round, 1997. Thanks, Google. Appreciate it. To the Cardinals. But that was in 1997, right? So even if we want to say in the past 15 years, Kyler Murray was the best quarterback that they've drafted in 15 years, right? Or even 20 years. Hell, let's go 20 years, 25 years, right? Because Plummer was drafted in 97. So, yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, I'll give you that. Oh, boy, we're back. If you know, you know. If you don't know, I don't want to hear it. J10X in the chat reminding us the McFlurry. Yikes. We're back, baby. We're so back. All right. That's the Kyler Murray thing. Let me give some real quick love on over here to the sponsors of the Easy Sports Fan here on YouTube. The guys that are keeping the lights on. That is going to be none other than Sleeper, proud sponsors of the Easy Sports Fan throughout the entirety of the 2025 season. And then we're going to talk about some off-season things, which hopefully you guys find a little interesting because there's going to be a lot of moving parts for the Arizona Cardinals heading into 2026. But hey, we're for it, man. Any change is good change at this point. Let me give some love on over to Sleeper. The NFL playoffs are here, which means you now have a chance to 100 times your cash on daily fantasy football. Pick on stats for stars like touchdowns, passing yards, and receiving yards, and fantasy points and more for up to 100 times the payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right, and you could win big. Use promo code AZSF. You can get up to a $100 deposit match on your first initial deposit. Terms and conditions do apply. Everything will be in the description below of the video. And on top of that, you will also be getting a free $20 just like that. No deposit needed. Make sure you check out Sleeper, proud sponsors of the Easy Sports Fan throughout the entirety of the 2025 season. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep it going. Off-season moves. Talk to me, ladies and gentlemen. What are the big things you need the Arizona Cardinals to do this coming offseason? It's your time to let us know in the chat below. What are your big moves you want the Arizona Cardinals to do? Is it offensive line? Do you think we need to go after Francis Mauigoa out of Miami? Do you believe we need to go after Ruben Bain Jr. out of Miami? David Bailey? What is it? Is it free agency? What is it? Because believe it or not, we are sitting on January 22nd right now. We got the rest of January, which, a little over a week or so. In February, we got the Super Bowl. And within that, we got free agency, baby. We got free agency here in March. So that's going to be coming up here really soon. And then we got the draft in April. So now starts to kind of see what the 2026 roster could potentially look like for, in 2026 for the Cardinals. So it's going to be a lot of moving parts, a lot of moving pieces. But hey, man, I'm game. Tell me who your desired guys are, and then we will have conversations. I see somebody say sell the team. Yikes. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But I appreciate you for being here in the chat. RC3 say Trey Hendrickson and Breece Hall. Love to see it. Well, Trey Hendrickson, definitely a guy that we coveted very much this last offseason and had a real long dialogue with Trey Hendrickson. Can the Cardinals go after him? Can they not go after him? But now it definitely feels like he will be hitting the market, at least per all articles that I see about Trey Hendrickson. Let me just double check his contract real quick. Let me just do a real quick search here because I know he signed a 1-year deal this last year just to kind of make him stay happy. Yeah, so yep. So he's got a voided out year in 2026. So it seems like he most likely will be a free agent this coming year. So Trey Hendrickson, I'm game. And then Breece Hall. Big question mark out there is James Conner. Are the Cardinals going to bring back James Conner? Right? It's a big question out there. I don't know what happens because if they do decide to cut ties with James Conner, and although I love the player, like I said, business, right? The business side of it all, you can save a good amount of money, right? And if that money can allocate to another player that you remove off this roster, your Justin Jones, your Bilal Nichols, that can also equate to maybe getting yourself a right tackle that we so desperately need, right? Because Jonah Williams didn't work. He's as good as gone. He's as good as gone. Kelvin Beachum, although I love the fact that he's a depth player and he's really, really good for this community, he's not the long-term answer. I do believe right now, offensive line is definitely a big spot that I feel like the Cardinals absolutely need to address in this coming free agency poll. If not free agency, then definitely the draft for sure. Now, I don't think it has to be the third overall pick. Now, although I do like Francis Mauigoa, and I also do like Spencer Fanu, I feel like if that's going to be the way the Cardinals decide to go, trade back. Trade back, accumulate another pick, and then get your quote-unquote guy just like Paris Johnson Jr. But my concern, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm concerned that we're going to be potentially skipping out on another Will Anderson Jr. Will Anderson Jr. is, and we can debate back and forth, left and right, up and down, south. I don't care. If you can't admit to yourself that Will Anderson Jr. was the pick in 2023, then I'm not gonna say you don't know ball, but like you got to admit that like when drafting a player, you need to go after the guy that's going to be the best blue chip player you potentially can be. Now, yes, I still do like Paris Johnson Jr. And yes, we had a big need at left tackle, right? I get that. I get it. But we're talking about arguably a top 5 edge player in the game, and he's like 24 years old, still very young, and he is a wrecker on that defensive line. Now, does it help that he's got Daniil Hunter next to him? Yeah. Well, not next to him, but opposite side of him. Yes, that helps out as well, but that kid's game is on another level. I'm worried that if the Cardinals go right tackle, they're going to be potentially missing out on a player like another edge player, like a Ruben Bain Jr., which has looked very good in this playoff run. Now, Miami's gone, so Francis Mauigoa and Ruben Bain Jr. will probably, hopefully, fingers crossed, declare for the draft. And if you don't want to go that route, there's some intrigue with Arvell Reese, Ohio State edge rusher / linebacker. There's that route as well. Or there's David Bailey, which I'm a big fan of as well. David Bailey out of, I always mess up the Texas A&M. No, Texas Tech. I do it all the time. Texas Tech. David Bailey out of Texas Tech. I do it all the time. That's why I always want to fact check myself. Texas Tech. That kid is also pretty darn special as well. So I feel like the Cardinals need to go edge. I really, really do. I think they need to go edge in this route. Now, of course, preferably if the Cardinals go this direction, I'm hoping that the free agent that they get or they prioritize is going after a right tackle of the future in this year's free agency pool, right? Now, I made multiple videos about this already, right? Who the Cardinals could potentially target. If they wanted to go after a right tackle, I got your bridge guy. I got your guy that you can give on a long-term deal. And I know those free agents really don't work out for us, but you got to take swings, right? You got to take swings at the end of the day. So, yeah. Some really good edge players, man, in this draft. David Bailey, Ruben Bain Jr. And yeah, there's some really good players. Chosen in the chat says, need a blue chip edge ASAP. Yeah, man, we just haven't been able to get somebody opposite side of Josh Sweat. And here's the thing, too. Every time I mention this, I guess my argument or my take in this whole situation, everybody gets so offended. Like, oh, I hate Paris Johnson. No, I don't hate Paris Johnson Jr. I like Paris Johnson. I think Paris Johnson Jr. is a good player, right? But good, great, or really good and great, or good or elite, there's a difference. There's a big difference out there. Ask every person you know that's not a Cardinal fan and tell me who you would rather have, Will Anderson Jr. or Paris Johnson Jr. I promise you, most people would say, Will Anderson Jr., what are you talking about? Right? I promise you, take the fandom out. Take it out of your head right now, because people always seem to be so attached that we made this big. But no, you just got to acknowledge the fact that sometimes a value, you got to go after value instead of need sometimes, right? You never want a draft of need. How many times do we hear that? You never want to draft for need, but everybody on these mock drafts has us going over to Spencer Fanu with the 3rd overall pick or going after Francis Mauigoa with the 3rd overall pick. If they wanted to go that direction, just trade back, accumulate another draft pick, and then get them, right? That's what I would say. But if you want to potentially strike in getting an actual blue chip player, Bain, Bailey, those are the guys you potentially want to actually go after. Arvel Reese, if you're into that, right? So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Still have hope for Ojulari. I mean, I'm glad he was able to stay healthy, right? I'm glad Ojulari was able to stay healthy, but it's not. He's not the opposites guy of Josh Sweat. He's not. And although I liked the Walter Nolan pick, I like the Walter Nolan pick now because the flashes that we've seen, I'm concerned. Can he stay healthy? Right? Because I think he got like 3 injuries in his rookie year. Like I'm concerned. Can he stay healthy? Right? But when he's out there, he's playing pretty darn dominant. He's playing pretty darn good when he's out there. So I want somebody opposite side of Josh Sweat, but I get it. The right tackle position is a big, big need, man. Big, big need. I just hope that John Gaines II can develop to be one of the guards for us, and hopefully Isaiah Adams can develop to be one of those guards for us. Or if you go after a, what's his name? Sorry, it's the Ravens center, Linderbaum. If you go after Linderbaum, then you kick out Froholt to one of the guards. You go that direction as well. You go Linderbaum. I'm game with that. You kick Froholt out to a guard. You alleviate one of these young guys for getting thrown to the fire way too early. I feel like that would also be a solution. But yeah, I still have a little hope for Ojulari. I just don't think he's more than a rotational guy. Right now, I don't think he's proven very much as of right now. I could be wrong, but right now I don't think it's proven to be that guy opposite side of Josh Sweat. Blazing in the chest says we don't get sacks or pressures. It seems like it. Yeah, the only one that does it is Calais, which he's got a big decision to make, and Josh Sweat. That's it. And when Walter Nolan was healthy, him too. But like that was it. Like we need somebody that's going to be able to make the opposing quarterbacks regret playing us that week. That's what I'm looking for. Outlaw. What's up, Outlaw? He says, hey, Mike, I have been a fan of K1, but he really never had a coach that could coach him right. And this is kind of where I'm going to stay to my take when I say if the new head coach wants him, he should have the ability to keep him if he wants to keep him. I'm not in the boat where I'm saying that he doesn't have the proper coaching or anything like that. That kind of went away from me, but I am going to say right now, if the new coach wants him, he should be able to keep him. That's where I will leave it with the whole K1 situation. Yeah. Why Texas Tech and Texas A&M confused the living heck out of my mind, I don't know. But yeah, Texas Tech. That's where David Bailey's from. Yep. Let's go Chi. Right, Chi? I understand, but our defense is decent, man. We need O-line bad. Couldn't get any rhythm this offseason because of pressure. But that's the thing, too. I mean, we also have free agency. And I know we're probably a little snake bitten with Jonah Williams. I should have listened to those guys that said he's buns, and I was like, oh no, he's good. I should have listened to them. But you got some really good right tackles that can hit the free agency market. Now, of course, free agency comes first. So if the Cardinals don't address it, then of course Francis Brown, we know it seems a lot more like that guy, right? But you never want to draft of need. You never do. That puts you in a very, very, very bad situation because if you're going based off of need and going away from your board or the best player available, it's just never a recipe for success. Usually more times than not. But I get your concern. I get it. Russell, what's up, Russell? Bro, if no coaches want to be a Cards, do you think players will want to come here? Yeah. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Let me live in my delusion right now that we're not in March. Let me live in my delusion right now. We're not in March yet. But you never know, man. You never know. I mean, what if we do bring in Kubiak, right? Maybe we bring Kubiak. Maybe we bring in LaFleur. Maybe we bring in Campanile, right? Maybe it changes. There's just so much unknown right now with this roster and organization right now. A lot of unknown. But I get this. I get where you're coming from. Mike in the chat says, would love to win a ring for Calais, but I know it's a long shot. Oh, yeah, it's not happening. Not next year. I mean, we all we can hope for right now is that the Arizona Cardinals do what they did with the Suns did with Jordan Ott. Because when Jordan Ott was hired, I don't think I heard anybody out there saying, "This is a home run. This is the best thing out there." Everybody's like, "What? Jordan Ott? What's going on?" But look what Jordan Ott's doing over there with the Suns, man. The Suns are freaking a fun team to watch. And you couldn't say that with Kevin Durant. You couldn't. I'm sorry. It was cool. It was awesome to get KD here, but like you couldn't say that. That team was very, very underwhelming. Now with Jordan Ott, an inexperienced guy, look what he's doing. You get the right guy in here, get people to buy into your plan, and things can work out. I feel like the same thing goes here as well. Keep my oh, he's getting a job, buddy. He's getting a job, buddy. He is getting a job. If not here, maybe the Ravens. He's getting a job. I'm sorry to say, but I think he's done enough to potentially get out of your organization. I have a strong feeling that he's going to not be there. Call me crazy, but I think he will. Mandin, got a super chat coming here from Mandin. Got the green super chat. Appreciate you, man. He's saying this. Go Bane and look for a right tackle in the second. Sweat, Bane, Walter up the middle. Get an OG in free agency. Offensive guard. Sorry. I read it as OG, but you're saying offensive guard. Get an offensive guard in free agency. Let's not let the blue chip players slip by again. Ooh. Yes. Yes. This right here is absolutely on par with what I'm game with. You cannot allow yourself to be put in a situation where you're drafting by need. You cannot allow yourself to be put in the situation that you're putting yourself to draft by need. You can't. You cannot do it. It's a very, very sticky business to put yourself there. And I like Francis Moinoa and I like Spencer Fanu. But if that's who you want, trade back, accumulate another draft pick, and do what you did with Paris. But I don't want to do that. I really don't. You're not picking here or you shouldn't want to pick the third overall pick again. Get somebody that's going to be a difference maker and change your organization, just like Will Anderson Jr. is doing with the Texans. That's who you need. Get a Pro Bowler. Bane can be that guy. He looks explosive. I know the short arms came out and they're like, oh, his short arms, he's not going to flourish in the NFL. Well, let them do their evaluation, but that kid looks special in the playoffs. David Bailey as well, a wrecker on the defensive line. Is it a little too rich for the third overall pick? Maybe if you want to trade back, you could probably get Bailey somewhere still in the 6 or 7. But you're playing a very, very tough gambling game there if you did that. But yeah, oh man, one of the best super chats I've seen in a very long time. Let me read it again for the one time. He's saying this. Go Bane and look for a right tackle in the second round. Sweat, Bane, Walter up the middle. Get an offensive guard in free agency. Let's not let a blue chip player slip by again. Ooh, man, I should probably screenshot this one. Man, coming up here with the absolute amazing takes. Love to see it. Love to see it. But the question will be, are you bringing Kyler Murray back, right? Because if you're bringing Kyler Murray back, this makes sense. If you don't bring back Kyler Murray, then what are we doing at quarterback? Is it Jacoby just for the year to kind of see what happens and then we get a quarterback in 2027? Right? So I guess it's always a question mark, right? Because there's a lot of question marks around this team. A lot. Michael in the chat says, hire Coach Camp today so we can move on to other things. That's the thing that's lingering over our heads right now. That's the thing right now that's lingering over our heads right now. What are the Arizona Cardinals going to do at head coach, right? Do I expect breaking news to drop? Are we seeing breaking news drop? Let me do a real quick refresh real quick. Nope. Nothing as of right now. I don't expect it to. I think the Cardinals are going to wait till next week, if I'm going to be real. I think they're going to wait until next week. And I think that's the right decision. I think they need to put him as a priority, and I'm talking about Coach Camp, right? Campanile. But unless they're 110, 115% sold that he's the guy, I just don't think it's happening today. But I could be wrong. Woo! Two comments I want to get to. Woo! All right. RC3, I see you, buddy. I will get to your super chat, but give me a sec. Blue chip first, needs come second. Hopefully Monty knows this. I hope so too. That was one. And then there you go. $10 banger. Here we go. RC3. Make sure you go ahead and give some love on over to RC3 here in the chat. And everybody so far the super chat. Appreciate you, RC3. Thank you so very much for the $10 donation. Very generous. He's saying this. Bane or Reese at 3. I'm intrigued with Reese. I really am. It's just, I feel a little hesitant because of Isaiah Simmons. And I know we shouldn't be in that situation because I remember when Isaiah Simmons came in and people were like, oh man, he's a Swiss Army knife. And we fell in love with that. I got the same vibe with Reese. He's a linebacker, turn edge. I'm worried. But if he's a primary edge, I guess I can get on game with that. But he says Bane or Reese at 3, then trade Kyler and a first for next year for Burrow. Ooh. Burrow. And draft and sign or draft O-line to protect Burrow. Also get a late wide receiver as well to replace Dortch. Sheesh, man, that Burrow thing. You feed families with Burrow right there, man. You feed families with Burrow. Absolutely. If we had a different general manager, I think it would actually be plausible. I don't see Monty Ossenfort doing something like that, unfortunately. Like, Monty Ossenfort right now has been that guy. It's been that guy that the Arizona Cardinals is just... I mean, Bidwell believes in him. Maybe because he's saving him money. I don't know. But Bidwell believes in it. I don't see it happening. I would love it. I'm game for that too. But Burrow would probably covet multiple first-round picks. Our third overall. No, you're saying, oh, never mind. So you're saying, yeah, he would. So Kyler, next year's first. You're probably going to have to throw multiple first-round picks, if I'm going to be real with you. At least 2. And maybe your second and third this year. Yeah, he's going to covet a lot of picks. I like the mind process, though, man. I like the mind process. Appreciate it, RC3. Frankie in the chat says, Burrow stays hurt, but I'm passing on any player that has injured. Okay. That's fair. Yeah, unfortunately, the O-line has never been able to be fixed with the Cincinnati Bengals, unfortunately. But yeah, I love it, man. I love the mind process, though, man. I ain't hating it one bit. The only thing I would say is that I do believe it's multiple first-round picks for Burrow. And that could either work out for us or crumble in front of our very eyes. But we'll see. Love to see it, though. RC3 in the chat says, I don't think it's Madden. I think that's what an owner should make happen. That's fair. I mean, it doesn't... people will say Madden until it happens, right? And then we can criticize it, right? But we see it throughout all sports, man. We see it through NBA when the Lakers traded for Luka, which I still do think it was the stupidest thing I've seen in my life. And why the NBA allowed it is beyond me, but I digress. We see it happen all the time, right? Things that shouldn't happen, that happen. And we'll see. Adrian! Woo-hoo-hoo! Another one. You got...
Another one.
Sheesh. Here we go.
Another one.
Dang, another $10 donation coming our way. Adrian coming up here, and RC3 with another $2. All right, well, let's get to that. Let's first start with my guy Adrian coming up here with a $10 donation. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so very much. Says this, another way to go for O-line is go all in the Ravens. This is what I said earlier. Yes, I love this idea. Another way to go for the O-line is go all in on the Ravens center, Tyler Linderbaum, and put Froholt. DJ air horn. Yes. Tyler Linderbaum at center. You kick Froholt out to a guard, put Adams or Gaines at right guard, and sign Evan Neal and put him back at right tackle, but still draft a right guard just in case. Yeah, I love it. This is what I want to hear, man. This is great. I also thought the idea of getting Linderbaum in my mind as well, if you wanted to go that direction. I freaking love this. Love this. You go Linderbaum, you kick Froholt out, because Froholt right now is still your top 2 guards, right? Now, will he decrease in play because he's no longer the center? Probably. Or he might flourish because he's getting older. I don't know, right? But he plays in the middle. He seems to be a pretty good anchor, him and Paris. I love this idea. RC3 coming up with another one. Burrow's early hurt because of O-line. Yeah, there's a lot of speculation out there that he's not having fun playing right now. That he's not having fun playing right now. And I'm talking about, obviously, Joe Burrow. People are speculating that he might go. People speculating out there that he just might go and not be with the Cincinnati Bengals anymore. I'm very curious to figure out if that truly does happen. And I hope the Cardinals' hand is in the cookie jar. But I know it's asking a little too much. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time. Oh, it's that time. We'll be closing up shop. We hit the hour mark, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank every single one of you guys for tuning in. We're going to continue to talk Cardinals football from this month to February to March to April. It's just going to be a constant flow. So if you guys haven't already subscribed, do me a massive favor. Subscribe over to the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. We're on the road to 19K, and we are giving away this Arizona Cardinals Nike Rivalry Mini Helmet once we hit 19K. So if you want to be put into this giveaway, make sure you help us out. Subscribe it up, smack the like button on your way out, and we will be closing up shop, but not before Cards Fan says, wait. Cards Fan coming up clutch with a $5 donation saying this. Well, actually, let me give you the other one. Give me a second. I got you, man. I got you. Another one coming up here, this time for my guy Cards Fan 09. I don't know if Monty has the confidence to sign Camp same day. Way too timid. Well, let me ask you this, Cards Fan. Actually, everybody. We still got 98 of you guys. A lot of you guys already left. We got 98 of you guys before we leave. Would you hire Camp today? Right now, with what you've already seen so far from Camp, Coach Camp, would you hire him today? Yay or nay in the chat before you leave. Yay or nay in the chat before you leave. Because like I said, if they're 110% sold in on the fact that he's the guy, go for it. If you're worried that the Ravens are going to snipe him away, go for it. If you still want to listen to Clint Kubiak and see if he wants to take an opportunity, I'm cool with that. LaFleur, Shula, I'm cool with that as well. So would you do it here in the chat? Let me know yes or no. And that's how we're going to go ahead and close up shop, because it will help the Cardinals finally figuring out, okay, we got this guy, let's move on. But I don't know. I kind of feel like what they're going to do is they're going to wait till next week. It's just me. But let's read some comments and we'll be closing up shop. We got Blazing saying no. We got Juan saying yes. Jeff saying yes. The Carolina Crone is into it. All right. I see you, Carolina Crone. I love to see it. I love to see when you're agreeing with the chat. Chris in the chat saying nah. Why can't we just get Sean? Because Sean hates us. Sean McDermott wants nothing to do with the Cardinals. That's why. Nate saying no. I like his art. Is it artifice attitude? Yes. Okay. A lot more yeses than nos. All right. Love to see it, ladies and gentlemen. With that note, let's close up shop. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak to every single one of you guys here in the chat. If you guys haven't followed me on all my social platforms, I highly recommend and encourage you to do so. I'm trying to build up Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all that different stuff. So make sure you follow me. Everything will be in the description below of the video. I appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Have a great rest